Hi, I'm John Ruggiero. Welcome to New Jersey Paranormal. In this episode, we're going to be talking about past lives. Joining me today is my teammate, Tania, and special guest, Michele Granberg. Thanks for being here, Michele.
Thank you, John.
Good to have you.
Great to be here.
Let's start by you telling us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a full-time psychospiritual counselor, and one of the things that I specialize in is past life regression therapy. So I have worked with thousands of clients over the last 15 to 20 years. I train with Dr. Brian Weiss, who's relatively well known. He's written a lot of books. He teaches all around the world. And basically a past life regression therapist is someone who helps their clients to remember their past lives for therapeutic purposes, for the purpose of understanding the lessons from them, for the purpose of healing, for the purpose of expansion, spiritual growth, and lots of other really wonderful benefits.
Now, again, this is interesting to me because we are paranormal investigators. We sort of have different perspectives when it comes to this. I'm more of a skeptic when it comes to past lives. Tania kind of believes more than I do. So, again, we're going to have a lot of questions for you. The first one is, does everybody have a past life?
Yes, the answer is absolutely a resounding yes to that.
No matter who you are?
No matter if you believe or not.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with belief. The existence of past lives, which is connected to the idea that we are a soul, an infinite being, really goes into under the heading of universal truths. That's what I like to call them, spiritual truths or universal truths with a capital T. So it really is about the story of us, who we are beyond this physical existence. So the story of our past lives is about who we are as non-physical beings and that we continue. And also past lives are spoken about, of course, in so many major religions like Buddhism and Hinduism. So it's like it's always been something that people have engaged in.
Okay.
With the past life, your soul, does it go in like a limbo state ever, or do you find the next body, or how does that work? How does your soul decide, okay, I want to be in this body?
Is it a choice?
Is it a choice?
Yes. The soul always has free will. It always has choice. It's really hard. I know it's hard to kind of understand all this because we are trying to apply human perspective to the soul's perspective. In the human's perspective, we are limited beings and we have all of these limitations around us. And we really think in terms of life and death in this very short sort of parentheses. But in the eyes of the soul, it is a much more expanded view. So the soul is wise, the soul is all-knowing, and we say that the soul has time in between lives to review the life we just left and to lay out and map out, we call that pre-birth planning, some of the major plot points of what that next life will entail.
Is it to learn lessons?
It's it's for the purpose of lessons, but you don't even want to think of lessons in terms of something arduous like school or something that you have to do. The soul, it's sort of like going to an amusement park and wanting to enjoy every single ride and getting the most out of it. The soul is here. We are here for expansion and growth, and actually we're here for the pure pleasure of it. So,
again, coming from my perspective, paranormal perspective, I believe that we are energy based. I believe that when you die, the body ceases to exist, but the energy, whether it goes to heaven, if there is a heaven and afterlife, another dimension, or whether like Star Wars, it's the Force and we're absorbed by everything and we do touch everything. The idea of past life sort of goes against the idea of heaven, in my view, and in the spirit world. Now, we've communicated with spirits. We have documented proof of intelligent spirits, actual communication, responses with instruments, voices on recorders. How would a past life continuation, how would that support a spirit world or the idea of a heaven, or doesn't it?
Well, I don't see where one cancels the other one out. I see both ideas as truths, as coexisting together. Again, because we have to not think of it from a limited point of view, we have to think of it from the soul's point of view. So one way of looking at a ghost or a paranormal activity is that it's not a whole soul. It's not a whole being. It's not all of who we are.
Okay.
We could say it's a remnant. We could say it's residual. We could say it is energy that has gotten so strong and powerful that it's almost like it has a life of its own, right? And at the same time, the soul is always in a non-physical state.
Right. So what you're saying, though, is it could split. You're saying that part of the soul could go on to new, different lives, have multiple lives. And I'm more interested in the spiritual sense. Do you believe that spirits exist? Are there earthbound spirits?
Well,
in your opinion,
are there? If people experience that, then yes, it's true. It goes more to we all create our own reality.
Right.
That kind of thinking, you've kind of heard that. So it's not like it's a hard and fast absolute outside ourselves that exists for absolutely everybody. There are certainly some collective truths and there are some individual truths that we actually
So there's
create.
not sort of a limbo area where you're waiting for your next life that you could be in the spirit world.
Right.
Is that a possibility?
I would say that some of that comes from a fear base. We get really a lot of what we think about the afterlife comes from fear, right? And conditioning in that way as well. So no, I would assure people that you can't get stuck anywhere for good and that your soul is always in a non-physical state.
Right.
Yeah, and again, we can exist in many forms.
Right.
In many dimensions. We're
Right.
multi-dimensional beings. There really is no limit to us in that.
Okay. I mean, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah.
Because
might not be the best way of explaining it.
Well, we do. Again, we've gotten proof of what I believe are earthbound spirits, and I wondered if there was sort of a layover, and if that was the process before you could
it's
get
possible.
your next life. Maybe you are kind of here
Maybe death
in
is
the interim.
Death is a transition.
Right,
So we
exactly.
might think of death as a process, so we don't just turn the switch off and die and go completely. So maybe parts of us are left over,
Okay.
residual imprints or impressions of us. It's possible for paranormal activity to be thought forms, for people to give so much energy and power to something happening that it causes it to happen. But I'm not at all minimizing all of your experiences because they're absolutely real and they're true.
That's the thing.
And they're happening for a reason.
Right. Again, my viewpoint is that there is sort of an afterlife. I don't know. I have what I think is proof of can spirits zap back and forth in and out. That's more my belief as opposed to a past life belief. But you think differently.
I do.
You think it's all possible?
Me personally, I think that certain people move on and go to past lives, and then certain people either get stuck.
Well, that's what we're
or
talking
they move
about.
to heaven or hell.
Well, you said it's a choice. Would it be a choice for me to remain an earthbound spirit, soul, rather than go on multiple lives? Is that a choice that we?
It's a choice that you make. It's a choice, but it's not usually a choice that you would want to make.
But we decide that, not some higher being.
It may be more for the lesson for the people who bump up against that leftover energy.
Okay.
It may be more for the people who knew that soul in life, or even for complete strangers. It may be part of that dynamic as well. There's so many soul agreements, scripts and things that we play out. So often we don't really know exactly what was sort of mapped out and what was, whatever occurred based on that. But it's interesting to know that most people believe in an afterlife, but what about a pre-life? Like, did we exist before we came into it?
That's a good point.
I see it as really one continuum. Why is there a difference for people?
Well, we were talking about past lives. If I had a mental or physical disability, would that follow me into multiple lives, or is it again a clean slate? Am I a totally different person with a totally different personality?
Yeah.
What is your impression?
That it's on a case-by-case basis.
Oh, it is.
That the individual soul that knows best really decides what would serve it best. But it can choose from the whole buffet of experiences. And in the eyes of the soul, there's no bad experience or wrong experience. So often the most challenging experiences are the ones that we learn the most from. So we want to select those.
What about someone who is Charlie Manson? Is Charlie Manson going to be Charlie Manson in every life that he goes through? Is a good person good throughout? Is a bad person bad throughout? How does that work?
It's hard to know. It's hard to know. I know in general there's no victims in the physical experience and there's no punishment. That's something that I believe. So, but that being said, there is a trajectory.
Okay.
Well, that's sort of what karma is.
Right.
Right? Our actions today affect our experiences in the future. Our thoughts today, our emotions today, all conscious and subconscious, folds forward a trajectory, paves a path for us that eventually, folds back to meet us. So for someone who has hurt other people, you can almost guess what their experience will be in future lives, and that's how they will learn. They'll have experiences where they feel hurt, or they're on the other side of what they enacted in one life, in another life.
Will you be with your family in the next life? Will the same souls that you're with in this life come with you or find each other in the next?
Most of the time, yes. In my direct experience with clients, working with thousands of clients, that's the experience that comes through so much of the time. 9 times out of 10, people are able to recognize the same soul. And that really makes sense because the experience we're having is really about love, right? And so we want in a continuation and a deepening of the love that we've begun to develop and build upon in this life. So yes, don't be surprised. Different faces, different costumes that we wear, but you could recognize the soul often through the eyes. They say the eyes are the window of the soul, and your gut tells you, I know this person. We're picking up where we left off.
So we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're actually going to do a live reading. Tania has volunteered. Michele is going to sit with Tania, and we're going to see, Tania, if you have had any past lives, and we can find proof of them. We'll be right back with New Jersey Paranormal.
Hi, I'm Joe Chin, and I'm from Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International, and you're watching New Jersey Paranormal.
So we're going to connect with you in such a way that you'll be able to remember your past lives. So do I have your permission, Tania, to work with you in this particular way?
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much for being open. So is there anyone in either living or deceased who you'd love to call upon who would be a really safe person to have by your side?
My grandfather.
Okay. What was your grandfather's name?
Mario.
We're going to invite Mario to be by your side for the entire process so that you feel really comfortable. Okay, ready?
Yes.
So what I'd like you to do is just forget about everything else. I want you to forget about all the people here. I want you to forget about everything outside of this room and just focus on me. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, so just looking into my eyes, and I want you to just listen to the sound of my voice. Okay? And each time your mind gets distracted, as it will, just bring yourself back. Good. So already I can see that you're getting relaxed. And that's all that we really want, is for you to just be comfortable and go to a nice, sleepy, groggy state. So as I begin to close my eyes, that's right, just like that. I want you to imagine, that's right, whenever you're ready to close your eyes, begin to feel that your eyelids are so heavy that they just really want to be closed. So thank you for closing your eyes. And we're thanking Mario for being here as well. So I want you to know that all of your past life memories are stored safely in your subconscious mind, just like every other single memory within you. So begin to focus on your body and notice if there's any tension in your body. And wherever you might feel that tension, I want you to just relax that area and let it melt away. And then I want you to bring your attention to your breathing. And just allow yourself 3 long, deep breaths. And as you're breathing, the intention is just to release anything that's blocking you, anything that might get in the way, and just let go so completely that you relax very, very deeply. Thank you so much for relaxing. And as you begin to relax, you're going to notice that you're focusing more inside than outside. So I'd like you to focus at the point in the center of your brow, as if there's a point there behind your eyes to look at closely and deeply. I want you to look directly into the backs of your eyelids and keep your attention there. And then allow your eyes to drift slowly to the left towards your left ear, and then slowly floating to the right towards your right ear. Allow your eyes underneath your closed lids to float up to the top of your head as if you're looking towards the top of your head. And then allow your comfortable eyes to float down as if you're looking at your chin. And then let your eyes, like tiny bubbles, come back floating up and looking directly into the backs of your eyelids. And then things will begin to change. Things will begin to disappear and something new will begin to materialize behind your eyes. I'd like you to imagine there that there's a beautiful staircase that is welcoming and beckoning you in a very safe and comfortable way. And then as you're ready, and it doesn't have to be crystal clear, of course, it's there anyway, but allow yourself to go down deeply as I count. From 10 down to 9, that's right. From 9 down to 8, you're doing really well. 8, 7, that's right. 7, 6, 6, 5. Just as you know, 6, 5, that you are safe. You can let all the guard and all the walls down. 4, 3, down 2, heavier, more comfortable, so completely relaxed at 1. And then we're going to invite your soul to come to the forefront of your awareness, to guide us into your subconscious mind, because you have the key to your memories. And now that door can begin to open. And don't be surprised as you step through the threshold of that door, that images, feelings, knowings come rushing forward. I'm inviting you to see there, to feel an outdoor setting. And if you see that outdoor setting now, thank you. Describe what you see. You're in another time and place.
A cliff.
You see a cliff. Are you on top of the cliff looking over the cliff?
Yes.
How does it feel right now to be looking over that cliff? Does it evoke any emotion or does it just feel neutral?
Neutral.
So I'd like you to ask yourself silently to see what comes to you. Where am I in the world? What comes into your mind? First thing.
England.
Thank you, England. Thank you so much. I'd like you to ask yourself silently, when was this? What year was this? Or time period?
1600s.
1600s. Thank you so much. And then I'd like you to tune in to allow even more of those details to come forward. Are you male or female?
Female.
Thank you so much. And as a female, are you young or old or somewhere in the middle? How old are you?
In my 20s.
Feel like you're in your 20s? That's really excellent. And as you're able to look at your body, maybe looking at your hands or your feet, tell me what's the color of your skin and what you're wearing.
White skin.
Mm-hmm.
Blue dress.
A blue dress. Is the dress covering your arms or your arms exposed?
Covering.
Okay. And are you carrying anything?
No.
And are you alone at the top of the cliff?
Yes.
Very, very nice. So ask yourself just to remember, what was I thinking as I stood there? What was I thinking in that moment? And don't worry about whether it's right or wrong.
I'm waiting for somebody.
I'm waiting for someone here. And is there a feeling that accompanies the knowing that you're waiting?
Waiting for my father.
It's a feeling of anticipation, it sounds like, right? A feeling of maybe yearning?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a sense of something impending, something about to happen. And so if it feels right for you to remember a little bit more of that, you can ask yourself, what is the significance of this particular memory? What happens? Does your father show up? Or?
No.
Okay.
He died at sea.
He died at sea, so perhaps that's a moment in which you had that realization that your father died at sea. So I want you to be able to just kind of feel whatever it is that comes up with that. Breathe and know that it's perfect, that in some way this memory helps you to understand yourself and to heal. So just for the sake of time, we're going to fast forward in that same timeline, in that same life. And I know you can do this. It's really easy to remember and safe how you died in that life. So fast forward, please, dear soul, all the way to the end of that life. How did you die in that life?
I jumped off the cliff.
You jumped off the cliff. So this was, in fact, this is your death scene. This is your last moment, and that's why your soul has brought you there to see that. And so you really don't need to remember all of the graphic details of that. There's really no reason to re-experience any of the pain of that moment, but your soul is helping you to remember that for a particular reason. And I think you already know that, don't you?
Yes.
That's right. So take a moment just to feel that, and then your energy will be able to really let it go. And then just for a last moment, I'd like you to take yourself beyond the moment of death, when your soul, your spirit, was set free from that body, and you return to your soul's home, because it's just as easy to remember. Your soul's memories are right there. Who met you when you crossed over?
My mother.
Nice. So can you see her there when she met you then? So your mother from this life?
No.
Your mother from that life?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you know about her now, remembering that?
She died young.
She died young, and you missed her. So it's a double loss for you, right? Double trauma that you lost both of your parents in that life, and that's why your soul is prodding you to remember that. So even as you take a deep breath, letting this experience be complete in such a way that it makes some kind of difference on some level, and you've done a really, really great job. And so we're going to bring you back slowly and gradually from that memory, which you can return to any time you wish. And as I count from 1 to 2, that's right, you're already beginning to bring yourself back into this particular time-space reality. At 3 and 4, back up, feeling more energized, feeling more awake, safe, of course, at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. At 9 and 10, you can open your eyes whenever you're ready. So how was that experience for you?
This one was sad.
You felt the sadness.
Yeah.
Can you still feel it?
Mm-hmm.
So you got a little more processing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Welcome back to New Jersey Paranormal. Tanya, I was watching the past life regression.
The mini regression.
The mini regression. I was definitely surprised by the things you were saying. What was that experience like for you?
Well, it was I was in a deep state of relaxation. I was aware of other things around me, but they were like very, very, very far away. And I was just calm. And when I went down that staircase, there was an open door, and immediately, there was no thinking involved. It's just there, what I saw.
Did you see it as sort of a movie, or how did it play out?
It almost felt like I was there.
Okay, it was actually
yeah, it was like I was
a moment, like it was a
yes.
memory, like you were just kind of thinking about something that happened. Mm-hmm. Did you look the same?
Similar, but not the same.
Same color hair, I mean,
dark
features?
Brown hair, and it was very, very long and wavy, and I had it half pulled up and the rest was down, and I had a blue like cotton dress on. It was like a peasant dress, and I was standing there at the edge of the cliff, and I just knew I was waiting for my father, and I could see the ocean, and I looked down at the bottom of the cliff, and I could see the rocks. I could see the waves splashing onto the rocks.
That's crazy.
And I just knew he had been gone for a very long time, and he wasn't coming back at that point.
That was some emotional stuff. I mean, that you were saying. Do you feel it afterwards? Is that something that lingers?
Yeah.
You still feel that like it happened?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's.
You know, people often feel emotions, and for me as a therapist, that's where I really want them to go, because the point for me is not just curiosity.
Right.
The point for me is to release those stuck emotions, for it to be cathartic, and it even got to be a little bit of that for Tanya. So it was a really great example, almost like just a little glimpse into what happens in a session, which is longer, and we have time to go deeper and explore it even further. But at the same time, once we unlock those memories, you still remember them right now. I can ask you to bring it up in your mind, and it's all right there. It's present. So that's the nature of the subconscious mind. It's filled with files. But once you find a file and bring it to the forefront of your screen, it's going to be there forever now. You can go back to it. You can just consciously review the memory.
Well, that's the thing too. As far as past life regression, do you think it helps or hurts? Does it hurt to know too much about your past lives, and would it affect your future, or was is the purpose just for a clean slate? I mean, we're supposed to just live each individual life without the memories of a previous life?
You don't need to remember your past lives to be healed and be whole and be happy and be healthy and learn your lessons. But if past life regression is something you're drawn to, then there probably is a reason for that. But it's the same as in this life, like anybody goes to a psychotherapist to explore their childhood a little bit. I believe that self-awareness leads to healing, that the more you know about yourself, the better. And in fact, it's that which we closet and hide from and avoid that's hurting us the most.
Okay, I got to tell you, I'm still very much skeptical about this because I do believe that there's psychological reasons for some of these memories, me personally, but you definitely think it's real, more real now than you did before?
You know, like I've always been drawn to the ocean. I always loved going to the beach, loved going to the ocean. And now it's almost like now I know why, because maybe I'm still looking for that ship to come in, from my dad to be there.
And like you said, some of these traumas continue in different lives, sort of group traumas, you call them.
Death is, absolutely. Death is not an interruption.
Right.
Really, it's just a pause, so it's absolutely a continuation, and usually a soul will amp it up. You know, will sort of up the ante one lifetime to the next, making the lessons more and more juicy and challenging in that way. But it's kind of more obvious than we think. Our past lives are all around us. It's in the decor we choose in our house, the foods we choose, the movies we love, the books we love. It's really a lot more obvious than we tend to think because it's just part of who we are. Okay, well, this has been an interesting show, to say the least. Thank you so much, Michele, for coming on. It was great having you. Really interesting. Thank you for watching this episode of New Jersey Paranormal. We'll see you next time.